Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Pechanga Resort and Casino with over 200,000 square feet of gaming space featuring over 132 table games. We invite you to experience it all. For those joining us in the live stream, we welcome you as well to sunny California as we get set for the official weigh-ins for tomorrow night's Bellator MMA live on Spike. Tomorrow night, doors will open here at 4 o'clock local time, at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central. That's 5 o'clock local time. The prelims will go live on spike.com. And then, as we do every single Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Central, of course, 7 o'clock local time, we go live with Bellator MMA on Spike. Tickets still available. Just check with the Pechanga box office right here on site. My name is Mike Williams, cage announcer for Bellator MMA. Again, welcoming you to the official weigh-ins. In Bellator's A season, the toughest tournament in sports features 5 different tournaments from featherweight through light heavyweight. The fighter in each of those weight classes that can win one fight in each of 3 consecutive months will be declared a tournament champion, take home the total $100,000 purse, and perhaps most importantly, earn that world title shot. Tomorrow night, in the toughest tournament in sports, we continue with the semifinal round. It'll be featherweights and middleweights inside the Bellator cage. Joining me on stage, as always, the lovely ladies from Bellator MMA, Jade and Mercedes. Joining us momentarily when the fighters get on the scale, the CEO and chairman of Bellator MMA, Mr. Bjorn Rebney. And right now, if you would please join me in welcoming the fighters to the scale. This is the man that'll do it. Fight commentator for Bellator MMA on Spike, Mr. Jimmy Smith.
Thank you so much. Great being back in Southern California. Let's get it started with the 205-pounders, the light heavyweights, Rocky Ramirez and Brandon Halsey, first to the scale out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Please welcome Rocky Ramirez. Record of 4-3, 2 KOs, 1 submission in those 4 wins. A background in boxing and jiu-jitsu. He stands 6 foot. Official weight 204 for Rocky Ramirez. And his opponent out of Huntington Beach, California, please welcome Brandon Halsey. He stands 6 foot as well, 2-0, 1 submission in those 2 wins, a background in wrestling. Official weight 205 on the dot for Brandon Halsey. They'll be kicking it off for us on the prelims. Check them out on spike.com. Rocky Ramirez and Brandon Halsey, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Hitman? What's up, buddy? How you doing? Next up, the featherweights, 145 pounds. Shad Smith versus Aaron Miller. First to the scale out of San Bernardino, California. Please welcome Shad Smith. A background in freestyle fighting. He stands 5'5". Official weight 146 on the dot for Shad Smith. And his opponent out of West Covina, California, please welcome Aaron Miller. Record of 14-8, 3 KOs, 1 submission in those 14 wins. He stands 5'9". Official weight 146 for Aaron Miller. Our second fight of the night, the featherweights, Shad Smith versus Aaron Miller. Give it up for him. Next up, the big boys, the heavyweights, 265 pounds, Josh Apel and Manny Lara. First to the scale out of Sacramento, California. Please welcome Josh Apel. He is a striker with a record of 9-2, 6 KOs, 2 submissions in those 9 wins. He stands 5'10". Official weight, 247 for Josh Apel. And his opponent out of Lake Forest, California, please welcome Manny Lara. Record of 4-2, 3 knockouts in those 4 wins. A background in boxing and wrestling. He stands 5'11", only 25 years old. Official weight, 254.2 for Manny Lara. Our third fight of the night, the heavyweights. Give it up for him, Josh Apel and Manny Lara. Moving down the scale to the middleweights, 185 pounds. Richard Rigmaiden versus Keith Berry. First to the scale out of Stockton, California. Please welcome Richard Rigmaiden. Official weight, 178.6 for Richard Rigmaiden. And his opponent out of Murrieta, Georgia, please welcome Keith Berry. It says Georgia on there. It's a total typo. From Murrieta, California, please welcome Keith Berry. Background in boxing and wrestling. Record of 13-10, 9 KOs, 3 submissions in those 13 wins.
Step up when you're ready. Hold still.
Official weight,
186.
186 for Keith Berry. The tarp was worth it.
Good job, Keith.
The middleweights, give it up for him. Richard Rigmaiden versus Keith Berry, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, the lightweights, 155 pounds. Akop Stepanyan and Chris Saunders, first to the scale out of St. Petersburg, Russia. Please welcome Akop Stepanyan. I was ready for that. It didn't even bother me. An outstanding record, 12-5, 6 KOs, 2 submissions in those 12 wins. A background in taekwondo and boxing. He stands 5'9". Apparently, you even have to take the ring off to weigh in. But it ain't coming. Let's hope he still makes it. Official weight,
156.
156. He's still good. Right here, man. And his opponent out of Long Beach, California, please welcome Chris Saunders. Record of 9-5, a background in Muay Thai and wrestling. Stands 5'9", 26 years old. Official weight,
154.5.
154.5 for Chris Saunders. The lightweights, give it up for him. Akop Stepanyan and Chris Saunders, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, the welterweights, 170 pounds. Sabah Homasi and Ricky Legere. Please welcome to the scale out of Coconut Creek, Florida, Sabah Homasi. 1 pound allowance in California, 171. Official weight,
170.6.
170.6 for Sabah Homasi. And his opponent out of Canyon Lake, California, please welcome Ricky Legere. Record of 15-4, 7 KOs, 6 submissions. Background in freestyle fighting. And out comes the tarp. Official weight,
I got 173.
173. He has 2 hours to make the weight. Still have the fighters square off. Give it up for him. Sabah Homasi versus Ricky Legere, ladies and gentlemen. And our last preliminary fight in the featherweight division, 145 pounds. Nick Piedmont versus Kleber Luciano. First to scale out of Chula Vista, California. Please welcome Nick Piedmont. Record of 6-3, 2 KOs, 1 submission, and those 6 wins. A background in wrestling. Official weight,
146 on the nose.
146 exactly for Nick Piedmont. And his opponent, fighting out of Huntington Beach, California, please welcome Kleber Luciano. Bellator veteran with a record of 8-4, 1 KO, 6 submissions, a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you do Jiu-Jitsu in Southern California, you know Kleber Luciano. He stands 5'6". Official weight, 144.6 for Kleber Luciano. This will be our last preliminary fight. You can see all of our preliminaries on Spike.com. Check it out, hardcore fans. This will be the finale of the preliminaries. Nick Piedmont versus Kleber Luciano. Moving on to the televised portion of our show. Of course, check us out on Spike. It is the featherweight tournament semifinal, 145 pounds. Popo Bezerra versus Mike Richman. First to the scale, fighting out of Chula Vista, California. Please welcome Popo Bezerra. An outstanding record, 15-2, 4 KOs, 10 submissions in those 15 wins. Background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. Official weight,
146.
146 on the dot for Popo Bezerra. In the semifinals, of course, Popo taking on a very dangerous striker in Mike Richman, a guy like him, young, hungry. What can the fans look forward to tomorrow night?
Moleque duro, novo igual você. O que vocês vão esperar de você amanhã, os fãs?
Vamos ver se ele sabe aguentar a pressão.
We will see if he can handle the pressure.
We'll see who can handle the pressure and his opponent. Please welcome him to the scale out of Rosemont, Minnesota. Please welcome Mike Richman. Also an outstanding record, 14-2, 6 KOs, 7 submissions. Known for his fast hands, a background in boxing and wrestling. He stands 5'8". Came to our attention because of his highlight reel knockout of Chris Hordeski to begin his Bellator career. Official weight. 145.4 for Mike, the Marine, Richman. You heard your opponent. He said, can he handle the pressure? Who's going to fold tomorrow night? Tell me.
We all know I bring the pressure, so he's going to see if he can handle mine. I'm just going to search and destroy.
You heard it. It's going to be a great semifinal. And the 145. It's an exciting weigh-in. What splashed me in the eye? Oh, Pedialyte. Tastes like Pedialyte. Well. Exciting way. It's going to be a better fight tomorrow night. Popo Bezerra versus Mike Richman. Next up to the scale, the middleweight, the tournament semifinal, 185 pounds. Dan Kramer versus Brett Cooper. First to the scale out of Coconut Creek, Florida. Dan Kramer. A record of 10-3, 2 knockouts in those 10 victories. Stands 6'1". A winner by decision in the quarterfinals over Brian the Predator Rogers. Official weight. 185.6 for Dan Kramer. Dan, a very tough first round against Brian Rogers, and it doesn't get any easier against Brett Cooper. What are your thoughts on this fight tomorrow night?
I'm real excited. I think it's going to be a tough fight. Brett's a great fighter. I think we're both similar. We're both tough. We're going to be in shape, and it's going to be exciting.
You heard it. It's going to be an exciting fight. And one guy who always has exciting fights, please welcome the scale out of Long Beach, California, Brett Cooper. Record of 18-7, 11 KOs, 2 submissions. In those 18 wins, a background in freestyle fighting. Official weight. 185.1 for Brett Cooper. No. Always forget about me, Brett. Brett, fighting a guy like you tomorrow night, a grinder, a tough fighter, well-rounded. Tell the fans how it's going to go tomorrow night.
It's going to be a tough fight, but I'm going to come home with a W.
You heard it, 2 guys who are focused on the semifinal tomorrow night. Give it up for them. Dan Kramer and Brett Cooper, ladies and gentlemen. And our second middleweight tournament semifinal, 185-pound, Sultan Aliyev and Doug the Rhino Marshall, first to the scale out of Dagestan, Russia. Please welcome Sultan Aliyev. Undefeated, 9-0, 6 knockouts in those 9 wins. A background in Sambo. He stands 6 feet tall. Official weight. 185.8 for Sultan Aliyev. Sultan, you're taking on Doug Marshall, a guy known for his knockout power. Tell the fans how this fight's going to go tomorrow.
Султан, ты завтра будешь драться с нокаутером, известным как. И что ты думаешь насчет завтрашнего боя?
Я думаю, это для меня не проблема. Это очередной просто бой. Мне немало попадались такие, кто делал нокауты.
He's not going to be a huge problem. I fight before with the knockout guys, so I'm going to win.
You heard it, and his opponent, please welcome the scale from Visalia, California, Doug the Rhino Marshall. A record of 16-6, 11 KOs, 4 submissions in those 16 wins, a background in freestyle fighting. Official weight? 185.1 for Doug Marshall. Seems like every fight you come to wreck it, you look for the knockout. Anything change tomorrow night? Tell me.
No, man, nothing's going to change. This guy's going to try to hug me and drag me to the ground and make love to me, and I'm going to try to knock him out. Whoever's going to impose their will is going to win, and that's going to be me. Come up with a knockout.
Let's give it up for him. This will be our second middleweight tournament semifinal, 185 pounds. The winner, of course, moving on to the finals, Sultan Aliyev versus Doug Marshall. And our final fight of the night, the other side of the featherweight tournament semifinal bracket, Frodo Khasbulaev versus Marlon Sandro. First to the scale out of Dagestan, Russia. Please welcome Frodo Khasbulaev. Record of 19-5, 5 KOs, 12 submissions in those 19 wins. A background in Sambo. He stands 5'8". Only 26 years old. Official weight? 145.8 for Frodo Khasbulaev. In the first round, you took on a very tough Brazilian. Moving on, you're taking on another very tough and experienced Brazilian. Will the result be the same?
В прошлом бою ты встречался очень сильным оппонентом с Бразилии. Какой ожидается результат на следующий бой?
Same result.
You heard him. Same result for Marlon Sandro. Please welcome to the scale his opponent out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Please welcome Marlon Sandro. Record of 24-4, 7 KOs, 6 submissions in those 24 wins. A background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. Of course, fighting out of the famed Novignon camp. Stands 5'6". Defeated Akop Stepanyan in the opening round. Official weight? 145.8 for Marlon Sandro. Russian fighter versus Brazilian fighter, always something special. Tell me what the fans are going to see tomorrow night in this fight.
I don't know in the Birmingham, but I respect everybody. But I come here for the good fight, for the win.
You got to give it up for him. Frodo Khasbulaev versus Marlon Sandro. Give it up for him. Thank you so much, SoCal Fight fans. We'll see you at the fights tomorrow night.
Jimmy Smith, thank you very much. Mercedes and Jay Bjorn, the members of the California State Athletic Commission. And for those that joined us for the live weigh-ins, again, tomorrow night, doors will open at 4 o'clock. First fights inside the cage. The prelims on Spike.com at 5 o'clock. That's local time, of course. Again, tickets available, Pechanga Resort and Casino box office right here on site. For those that joined us on the live stream, we thank you for joining us here in Southern California for the official weigh-ins. We'll see you tomorrow night live on Spike TV. Bellator MMA semifinals go in to the featherweights and the middleweights. We'll see you tomorrow night.